to the rate of reaction, then the concentration gradient between the bulk phase and the surface of the catalyst is very small. So rate of the reaction is the controlling step. These are the two limiting cases we have considered. So, I have admitted to 12 late students. Still, some 5 students are waiting in the lobby. It is 12:17. So this is not the time to enter into the class. So try to be on time for the class from the next day. Okay. Now, for the rapid reaction means the mass transfer is slower, and mass transfer limits the rate of the reaction. If mass transfer is slower and rate of the reaction is faster, then obviously rate constant is much greater than the mass transfer coefficient. Then this way we can write Kc by Kr is very less than 1, as Kc is very less than Kr. Okay. So look at this equation. We can write it this way: minus Ra dashed is equal to Kc Ca. We are taking this Kr down, 1 plus Kc by Kr. Now Kc by Kr is very less than 1. So it is coming as minus Ra dashed is roughly equal to Kc into Ca. That means rate of the reaction is dependent on mass transfer coefficient and the concentration of the reactant. When the reaction is rapid, that means mass transfer is the controlling step. To increase the rate of the reaction, we either have to increase Kc or Ca or both. So if minus Ra is equal to Kc into Ca, this is the equation, then obviously if we want to increase the rate, then either we have to increase the mass transfer coefficient, that means we have to increase the diffusional rate, or we have to increase the concentration of reactant, and otherwise we can increase both together. Then total rate of the reaction will be faster. Now, for gas phase catalytic reaction or for most liquids, Schmidt number is large enough. If you can remember the Frostling correlation, which was Sherwood number is equal to 2 plus 0.6 into Reynolds to the power half into Schmidt to the power 1/3. In that, this 2 we can neglect. 2 is very small compared to the next part of the equation, that is 2 plus 0.6 Reynolds to the power half Schmidt to the power 1/3, when Schmidt number is large for most of the gas phasic catalytic reaction and liquid phase reactions. Then we can neglect 2 in the Frostling correlation, and it is coming Sherwood number is equal to 0.6 Reynolds to the power half Schmidt to the power 1/3. And this Sherwood number we write Kcd by dAb. D is the diameter of the catalyst particle, Kc is the mass transfer coefficient, dAb is the diffusivity of A in B, is equal to 0.6 du by nu to the power half. This is Reynolds number. Nu by dAb is the Schmidt number. So we take out Kc from here. It is coming as 0.6 dAb by d, du by nu to the power half, nu by dAb to the power 1/3. So arranging these quantities, we are getting 0.6 dAb to the power 2/3 by nu to the power 1/6 into u to the power half by d to the power half. U is the velocity of A through the catalyst particle. And depending on u, we determine the Reynolds number. And d is the diameter of the catalyst particle. So if we take this dAb to the power 2/3 by nu to the power 1/6, that's term 1, and u to the power half by d to the power half, that means u by d to the power half as term 2, what it happens, you see, term 1 is a function of temperature and pressure only. DAB is dependent on temperature and pressure. Nu also viscosity, temperature, it depends on temperature. Diffusivity increases with increase in the temperature for both gas and liquid. Kinematic viscosity, nu, increases with temperature, nu proportional to T to the power 3 by 2 for gases, and decreases exponentially with temperature of liquids. So you see this first part, term 1, is dependent on temperature and pressure. The second one, term 2, is a function of flow of gas and particle size of the catalyst. U by D to the power half, whole to the power half. So term 2 is a function of gas flow rate, that means velocity of gas, and particle size of the catalyst. If you see it, it is Kc. Kc is then dependent on temperature, pressure, obviously, as well as the velocity of gas by diameter of the catalyst particle. We have said that we for increasing the rate of the reaction, either we have to increase Kc or we have to increase Ca, or both. So we can obviously increase Ca, but how to increase Kc? This is given. Yes, I was disconnected by team only. Okay, let us concentrate here. So obviously the mass transfer coefficient is dependent on the velocity of the gas, that is reactant, and the catalyst particle size. So this is one thing where we are discussed about the rapid reaction, how we can increase the rate of reaction. Now for slow reaction, that means if it is a slow reaction, then obviously the rate of the reaction is slower than the rate of diffusion. So diffusion is the first step, and rate of the reaction is the controlling step, as it is slower. So rate constant is smaller compared to the mass transfer coefficient. As mass transfer is more than reaction rate, so reaction rate constant is very, very less than the mass transfer coefficient. And from that same equation, minus Ra dash is equal to, we can write it Kr Ca by 1 plus Kr by Kc. And Kr by Kc is very, very small compared to 1, as Kr is very small. So it is coming as minus Ra dash is equal to almost is equal to Kr into Ca. That means rate of the reaction is proportional to the rate constant and the concentration of the reactant. Now, it should be noticed that here the specific reaction rate minus Ra dash is not dependent on the velocity of the fluid and not also on the particle size. Here, the rate of the reaction for slow reaction is completely dependent on the rate constant and concentration of A, obviously. Now, look at this figure. The figure shows the variation of the reaction rate with particle size and velocity. This is the reaction rate on the surface, and this y-axis, and x-axis is U by dP to the power half. When it is the diffusion limited reaction, that means when it is a rapid reaction, diffusion is the controlling step and faster step is the reaction, then we have seen rate of the reaction, we have seen Kc is dependent on U by dP, and rate of the reaction is equal to Kc into Ca. So rate of the reaction is dependent on U by dP to the power half. So at the beginning, when it is a rapid reaction, then rate of the reaction is dependent on velocity of the reactant and the particle size of the catalyst. Here you see this is diffusion limited reaction. As the velocity increases or dP decreases, the rate of the reaction increases. If U increases, then Kc will increase, or dP decrease. If dP decreases, Kc will increase. So as a whole, rate of the reaction will increase. So it is a straight line passing through origin. After that, one transition point will come where, due to increase in the velocity or decrease in dP, rate of the reaction becomes faster and overcome the mass transfer limitation. Rate of the reaction is that, so that here it is a reaction limited. When it is a reaction limited, then obviously rate of the reaction does not depend on U or dP. For that reason, this line is a straight line parallel to x-axis. Look, at low velocity, the mass transfer boundary layer thickness is large and diffusion limits the reaction. As the velocity past the solid particle increases, the boundary layer thickness decreases, and mass transfer across the boundary layer cannot limit the reaction. So in that case, mass transfer is no longer any limiting condition. Then reaction is the limiting condition in that case, when the velocity past the solid is much more. At the beginning, when velocity was small, then mass transfer boundary layer is thicker. And if the velocity increases, the boundary layer thickness will decrease. In that case, what will happen? This mass transfer becomes rapid. Mass transfer becomes more than the rate of the reaction, and then rate of the reaction is the controlling step. Is it okay? Any question? I'll go to the next slide then. Till the last slide, we were studying on the external diffusional resistance to mass transfer. Now, after the reactant reactant molecules come on the external surface of the catalyst, it will try to go inside the pore to occupy the pore surface area, to get absorbed on the pore surface area. And this is the step of another mass transfer, which is called internal diffusional diffusion or pore diffusion, anyone. And while doing this diffusion, the reactant molecules will face the resistance when it will try to go inside the pore surface. Okay. Now, when we'll talk about the pore diffusion, we have to talk about some more diffusivities. I said previously what is Knudsen diffusivity, or you know it? Do you know Knudsen diffusivity? Probably I have said no previously what is Knudsen diffusivity. Knudsen diffusivity is that when we are talking about the very small pore or capillary diffusion, when the gases are always gas molecules are always moving from one place to another. This is the this you have read in kinetic theory of gases due to Brownian motion. So this is the from one point to another when one molecule moves or goes, then it is a motion. This is called the mean free path of it is an average mean free path of the gas molecules. When the mean free path of the gas molecule is lesser, higher, bigger than the pore radius of pore radius in which the gas is entering, then what happens? The gas molecules will impinge or bang on the surface of the pore more often than usual cases what they do. Because the pore radius is smaller than their mean free path. So this type of diffusion is called Knudsen diffusion. So in analyzing Knudsen and bulk diffusivity is the free gas diffusivity coming from higher concentration to lower concentration. It is in the bulk. So it is a different diffusivity than the Knudsen diffusivity. Knudsen diffusivity is diffusivity within the pore. So in analyzing Knudsen and bulk diffusivity, the important parameter is the size of the pore with respect to the mean free path of the molecule. Even if the pore radius is higher than the mean free path of the molecule, then the diffusivity will go towards the bulk diffusivity. But if the mean free path is higher than the pore radius, that means pore radius is smaller than the mean free path, the diffusion will become Knudsen diffusion. Now, there are some empirical formula by which we can calculate different diffusivities. Bulk diffusivity is a function of molecular velocity v bar and the mean free path lambda of the molecule. That is, it is a function of temperature and pressure. And Knudsen diffusivity is a function of molecular velocity and pore radius a. So how we express these two diffusivities? DAB is equal to 1/3 V bar lambda. Lambda is roughly equal to 1 by P. It is pressure. And dk is the Knudsen diffusivity. 2/3 A V bar. Both are centimeter square per second. These are the two formula we see for the two types of diffusivities. For gases at atmospheric pressure, lambda is roughly equal to 1000 angstrom. Lambda is the mean free path. This is at atmospheric pressure we have seen this is the general 1000 angstrom order of magnitude. So diffusion in micropore is less than 2 nanometer size is mainly Knudsen diffusion because pore radius is smaller than the mean free path. So if the solid catalyst is having very thin pore, then that will become the Knudsen diffusion within that thin pores. And working expression to evaluate dk, Knudsen diffusivity, how we can calculate, this is the formula we use. dk is equal to 9.7 into 10 to the power 3 A T by M to the power half, where T is the temperature in Kelvin and M is the molecular weight of the reactant A, and small a is the pore radius. And I am just making you familiar with different diffusivities which are required for calculating the pore diffusion resistance. Combined diffusivity. What is combined diffusivity? Say, look, we are having a solid catalyst particle which is having a range of pores. that means different size pores. We have different size pores. Some are very thin pores, some are not that thin. So we have to, we can do one thing, we can calculate the diffusivity as a combined diffusivity. Somewhere it is bulk diffusivity, somewhere it is Knudsen diffusivity in some pores. Okay. When pore radius is large, then we consider bulk diffusivity. When pore radius is smaller than mean free path, we consider the Knudsen diffusivity. So combined diffusivity is the average diffusivity of throughout the whole solid catalyst particle. So D is equal to 1 by DAB plus 1 by dK. Look, when the catalyst particle is having a bigger pores, then obviously DAB is having some good value and dK is very small. Then what will happen totally? It is becoming D is equal to DAB, and then effective diffusivity. This is another diffusivity where pores of catalyst pellet are not straight and cylindrical. Till now, we were considering about a catalyst particle which are having parallel and straight pores, and the pores are cylindrical in nature. But in practical, it is not. The pores are not straight and cylindrical. Rather, they are tortuous and having interconnecting pathways. So it is a very complex network of pores. They are not straight and cylindrical. They are interconnected. They are highly different dimensions, different orders of magnitude of their pore diameter. So it is not possible to determine the diffusion at each and every point of this tortuous path. They are tortuous, bent, and having are different. It is not at all a cylindrical pore. In that case, effective diffusivity is applied, and what it defines, that it is defined as the average diffusivity taking place at any position R of a spherical pellet. You take any point in the catalyst pellet. R is that position. You calculate the diffusivity. In another position, you calculate the diffusivity. So together you can make an average. See, this is the average diffusivity, which is the effective diffusivity for a real solid catalyst particle having tortuous interconnected different dimension pores. In this situation, only radial variation in concentration is considered. And so, making it simpler, we consider only the radial variation in concentration, because whenever the reactant molecules try to enter into these different kinds of pores, we don't consider the variation in concentration in every direction. We consider only the radial variation, and consider only the radial flux, WAR, and WAR is based on the total area, solid plus void, normal to the diffusion. So this is the assumption. We consider the radial flux, and radial flux is based on the total area, whether it is solid part or void space, and this area should be normal to the diffusion. Now, effective diffusivity considers, these are the considerations, these are the points we have taken as assumptions for calculating the effective diffusivity. Not all the area normal to the direction of the flux are available, that is void, for the molecule to diffuse. If it is not a void, molecule cannot diffuse. If it is a solid part of the catalyst, molecule cannot diffuse. So not all the area normal to the direction of the flux are available for the molecule to diffuse. The paths are tortuous, bent, and having different dimensions, and varying cross-sectional area of the pores. Pores are having, in a single pore only, you will get different cross sections at different positions. Hence, effective diffusivity is expressed as dE is equal to d psi p gamma, sigma by tau. dE is the effective diffusivity, D is the combined diffusivity, this psi p is the it is the porosity, let me see, pellet porosity. Psi p is pellet porosity. What is porosity? Porosity is the volume of the void space by total volume, void plus solid for a catalyst pellet. Tau is actual distance of a molecule travels between 2 points by shortest distance between those 2 points. Say this is a pore, this is a tortuous pore, and we are taking 2 points A and B. This upper straight line, arrowed line, is the A to B is the shortest distance between these 2 points, but actually molecule has to traverse this bent tortuous pathway. A to 1. So tau is the measurement of actual distance a molecule travels between 2 points by shortest distance between those 2 points. And tau is normally greater than 1. Sigma is called constriction factor. Psi p is the porosity, sigma is the constriction factor, tau is the tortuosity. Tau is called tortuosity. Sigma is equal to constriction factor. What is constriction factor? Sigma accounts for the variation in cross-sectional area that is normal to the diffusion. Say this is a pore. It is having a broader cross-sectional area at this A2 and thinner cross-sectional area at A. So sigma, constriction factor, accounts for the variation in cross-sectional area that is normal to the diffusion. This is the normal to the diffusion straightway through the pore. A molecule is diffusing. At A2, it is having a broader cross-sectional area, but at A1, it is having a smaller cross-sectional area. So sigma is equal to function of maximum to minimum pore area is a function of beta. What is beta? Beta is the area A2 by area A1. So here the area by this smaller area, it is giving beta. And sigma is a function of beta. And on sigma, obviously the effective diffusivity is dependent, and D is the combined diffusivity. Now we take a single cylindrical pore and we take the first order reaction, simple most reaction, first order reaction, and one single pore of a solid catalyst, and it is a cylindrical pore. One single pore we are considering, and the geometry of the pore, it is a flat plate type. Flat plate type. See, this is the picture. This is a flat plate type of catalyst, say, and this is a single pore. Only one pore we are considering. X in mole fraction of A is this small elementary section we have taken, and X is entering. X is the molecule mole fraction of A, which is entering at almost from the pore mouth, and X out is the mole fraction of A going out in the elementary section. And at the end, throughout this reaction is happening obviously, but as you go from the pore mouth to the end of the pore, the concentration of reactant decreases because of the resistance of the mass transfer. And at the end of the pore, we consider no reaction at the end of the pore because there is almost no available molecule of A to react at the end of the pore. So what happens, this CAS is the concentration of A on the external surface of the catalyst. it is continuously decreasing, and at the end of the pore it is almost zero. And this is the elementary section where x in and x out, this is the x direction, these are the this is the molecule mole fractions, and this is the small elementary section having a radius r, small r. So considering a single cylindrical pore with reactant A diffusing into the pore, a first order reaction A2 product, say this is the simple reaction. How we write? Minus 1 by S DNA dt is equal to Ks into Ca. S is the area of the pore and Na is the moles of A reacting. DNA dt is the rate of the reaction. This is as a whole rate of the reaction based on the pore surface is equal to Ks is the rate constant of the reaction on the pore surface into Ca. Ca is the concentration of A within the pore at any position. Na is equal to mole flux is equal to minus DAB dCA dx. Mole flux, this way we can write. This is Fick's first law. The negative sign implies that Ca decreases with x, as we have seen from the figure. A single cylindrical pore is considered, and the picture shows the change in the concentration of the reactant from the pore mouth to the end of the pore. This is the change in concentration from the pore mouth to the end of the pore. An elementary section within the pore is considered, based on which the mole balance equation is presented. And pore radius is r. X-axis is taken to denote the length of the pore. CAS is the concentration of A at the pore mouth, and it is assumed there is almost no concentration is experienced at the end of the pore. These are the assumptions and the notations we consider. We have okay. Let me go to another. Is there any question here? Any question from this slide? No. So student, I am finishing today's class here. Try to come in time from the next class, and so that it is encouraging for me. Continuously you are coming and for half an hour in the class. It is not good. So I am finishing the class today. If you have any question, you read the notes. I am uploading the notes again. Read the notes. If you have any question, you can write to me. Okay, chalo, bye.
Thank you, ma'am.